Chief, how are you this evening?
He's muted.
You're muted.
There we go. My mouse wasn't working. How are you this evening, Anthony?
I'm doing well, thank you, sir.
Good, good. How about you, Mr. Simpson?
Living the dream, Chief. Living the dream.
Glad to hear it.
Nightmares are dreams too. Just remember that.
That's right. Big 6-0 last week.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome. Welcome.
No turning back now.
No.
You're not that old, are you, Tony?
Yes, I turned 60 last September
September what?
12th.
Oh, I'm the 4th, September 4th.
Oh.
Okay.
So you're a little older
Nice.
than I
Just a little.
am.
That's it. Just a little bit.
Well, it's better than the alternative.
Absolutely. Every day.
Yep.
You're right. Thank goodness we're all a little bit younger than Mr. Logan.
I don't think he wants to admit that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Logan.
Where'd everybody get to?
Hey, Chief.
Good evening, Khadijah. How are you?
I'm good. I got up today.
You okay after your second shot?
I am.
Good.
Ah. Hello?
Hey, Chief.
Mr. Folks, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Oh, real good.
Yeah,
Yep.
Where's Mr. Logan at? Carmen said the link that she got says invalid.
Yeah, I know. Tell them they have to tell them to look at it and the numbers are right, but the site they gave is wrong. Tell her to punch in the numbers. Amount.
The meeting numbers and then the passcode.
Yeah,
All right. Let me call her back.
that's why it took me a long time to get on. You tell Sergeant Allers to, oh, no, that is Lieutenant. Go ahead, boy, I see him. He done changed it already.
He's on there somewhere.
No, he's on there. I see him.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to get on him to change that sergeant to lieutenant, but he changed it. I'll be right back.
Oh, come on.
Sorry. So sorry. Whew. I am here. Good evening, everyone. Is
Evening.
everyone else on?
Evening.
Is everyone else on?
2, 3. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Welcome to the City Council meeting for the City of Coatesville. Today is Monday, April 26th. Council met in executive session to discuss real estate and personnel matters. Please understand our council president will not be with us this evening. We would like to start off. Chief, are you there with your flag?
Yes, I am. Ready to start for Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, we are.
Very good. I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
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 of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America,
to the republic
to the republic
for which it
for
stands,
which stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty,
justice for all.
justice for all.
Oh, thank you, Chief. Would someone like to open us up in prayer?
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
Pray. Dear God, we come first of all thanking you for your loving kindness and thank you for your mercies. We thank you, God, for allowing us to serve our community. We ask tonight that you be with us as we conduct business. We pray that it's pleasing to you as well as beneficial for the residents of the Coatesville community. We thank you for the leadership that you have put in place. We just ask that you be with us on this night. These blessings we ask in your name and through your son we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Our first matter would be the approval of our minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Make that motion.
That was Ms. Hunt and Mr. Simpson. Any questions? None? Mr. Logan, can you poll council?
Councilman Simpson,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
6-0 carries. Thank you.
Okay. On to approval of accounts payable.
So
Is there a
moved.
motion?
A second.
Any questions? Poll council, please.
All right, Carmen and Bella.
Was that indirect text?
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilman Simpson.
Yes.
6-0 carries. Thank you.
Okay, we're on to additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda.
We have one addition under presentations, 4.2 C-Town.
Okay. Any others? All right. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And poll council,
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I did.
Ms. Alameen.
Thank you. Councilman Simpson,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes. Okay,
Thank you.
we're on to presentations. We have a presentation. Our first one, 4.1, would be Brandywine Valley Active Aging. Mr. Logan, can you expound on that?
Good evening, everyone. This evening, we have the Executive Director, President, CEO, all the wonderful things behind his name, Mr. Bill Pierce. Bill is here to present a little bit of update on the Brandywine Valley Active Aging. So without further ado, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you,
How you doing?
Council, for the
How you doing,
invitation.
Bill?
I'm doing
How
well.
are you?
How are you?
I'm good.
Very good. So before I do the professional side of tonight's presentation, I heard you all talking earlier about people looking older, and I just have to say, none of you seem any older than when I last saw you 14 months ago, but I have a lot more gray hair nowadays, so I'm jealous of you all looking so good.
Oh, gosh, thank
Hey,
you.
I'd take it if it was purple. I don't care what color it is.
Mr. Logan, am I able to share my screen or do I need permission?
Yes, Ruth Ann, can you give him access to the shared screen? I think you should be good.
I just need to find everything I need, right?
Here it is.
All right, I'm assuming we can all see it because I can't see you anymore.
You can't.
So I am joining you this evening to provide an update on our work over the last year during COVID-19, to let you know all the wonderful things we've been doing, in addition to hopefully answering some questions that have arisen since January when Coatesville Area Senior Center became Brandywine Valley Active Aging. So if you'll indulge me for just a minute, I would prefer to start back at January of 2020 when the first known case of COVID was announced in the United States. Not long after, in March, is pretty much when the world as we knew it turned upside down on its head for a moment. At the Senior Center, we met to determine what services would be most critical to continue to provide to the community. And when considering those services, we had to obviously draft plans that would be presented to the health department to demonstrate the safety of operating those programs. And the first slide here will indicate for you that for us, we decided that we needed to pay attention to food insecurity, social isolation, and the continuation of the support services that we provide. And an interesting point, these three topics are actually the founding principles of senior centers dating back to 1943. So when the first senior center was introduced in New York City, the goal was for senior centers moving forward to accomplish these three, or to face these three challenges head on. So it was interesting to us to see that as we reached a pandemic that nobody was prepared for, the three founding principles would still be relevant today.
Mm-hmm.
So first we dive into our food insecurity. Many of you are familiar with what we used to call the congregate meal program, which would have been about 80 people per day gathering in the dining room inside the senior center having lunch. Congregate indicating that folks would talk with their friends. Clearly, as mitigation efforts unrolled, we realized that we wouldn't be able to have in-person dining, and so we quickly switched over to our drive-through with our grab and go meal program. Many of you will probably remember the difficulty that it was to make that pivot with several traffic jams early on. I think almost 14 months later, we finally have the traffic jams figured out. So we are continuing to operate the grab and go and the drive-through meal program to date. We also realized at the height of the pandemic back in the red phase, when we were reaching about 300 people a day who were coming to us for food, that we wouldn't possibly be able to serve all of those people through the drive-through itself. We partnered with the National Guard, and we were able to distribute MREs to all of the senior housing facilities within the city limits. And then, of course, we continued and expanded our collaboration with the food bank in order to make sure that folks still had fresh produce, dairy products, and other groceries available to them. And what that resulted in was over the 12-month period, so looking at March 16th of 2020 to March 15th of 2021, we served more than 35,000 lunches to 380 seniors. We moved 21,000 MREs to another 300 seniors, and we provided more than 75,000 pounds of produce, groceries, and dairy with the help of the food bank to another 250 older adults.
Wow.
As the pandemic continues, as we wait for the results of vaccine rollout, food is still the #1 demand of service, with about 200 people per day coming to both of our campuses, combined 200 per day, coming for some type of food service. And what that represents, just on the 35,000 lunches alone, that is a 200% increase in demand for lunch over the previous year. So 200% increase over pre-pandemic numbers. Social isolation was another key component of our response. Certainly understanding that social isolation and physical decompensation are normal processes to aging. However, both of these were magnified during COVID. We know that social isolation can lead to dementia and other serious health risks. And physical decompensation leads to more than 2.8 million visits to an emergency room as a result of a trip or a fall. So knowing that we needed to focus our energies there was critical to our success. We also knew that we needed to keep our folks informed in order for them to be safe. We needed to keep them engaged so that they could be social in a socially distant world. And we needed to keep them connected to the opportunities that keep them healthy. And what that looked like for us was the rollout of a mass broadcast telephone calling system. So I wish that I was as energetic and as creative as some of these school superintendents and could come up with crafty messages. We went the plain and simple route of just telling people what they needed to know. The mass broadcast system allowed us to reach out to more than 2,000 individuals during the pandemic. We provided them information on stay-at-home orders, services that were available to them, and of course, we used that system to announce inclement weather closings that would affect the drive-through, as well as alerting them to the ability to receive testing and vaccinations around the county. As mitigation efforts were, continued to make progress from last January, we were able to introduce outdoor events. Parking lot quickly became a place to have concerts, themed parties, drive-through health fairs, socially distanced fan distribution events, voter registration events, and more. I think the theme parties have become very popular, just as popular outside the building as they were inside the building. And if you know us, you know we like to throw a party. And then our virtual campus that we introduced during the pandemic and formalized in January. The virtual campus obviously speaks for itself. It is all of the programs that people have come to know and enjoy, available now in the comfort and safety of their own home. We have programs that run on free conference call lines. So our folks like to call that the party line. Once a week, they will join the party line to play bingo, and then they will come back again another day that week to play Pokeno. And then if they are able to, they can join exercise programs, lecture series. We even did a beer making and beer tasting series, all through Facebook Live, Zoom, and YouTube. If folks don't have technology accessible to them, we now have a technology lending program where the seniors are able to borrow from us a tablet that is preloaded with Verizon 5G service, so they don't need the device and they don't need the internet. We provide that for them.
Wow.
As well as receiving instructions on how to use the device and us being available for tech support. I don't know if you've noticed, but the fun little avatar in the presentation is a replication of George or Jorge, who many of you know. Jorge
Yes,
departed us to move out to Pittsburgh. We thought he was going to have to leave the team, but we're happy to announce that we have kept Jorge as the coordinator of our virtual campus. So if you tune into a virtual program, you can hang out with Jorge some more. The virtual campus is actually much more popular than we anticipated it would be, given the audience that we're serving. And then our last challenge was to figure out how to continue to provide the support services that many folks use year after year. So in a non-COVID environment, we would assist probably 1,000 individuals with a number of benefits or entitlement programs that they would be eligible for. There's too many to list here, so I focused on some of the larger ones. The Complementary Income Tax Preparation Program, which we do in partnership with the AARP, If you're not an older adult, you may be familiar with a very similar program called VITA, the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. It works very much the same way, but through the AARP and intended for older adults. Other programs we can work with are the Pennsylvania Property Tax and Rent Rebate Program, enrolling folks for the SNAP program, providing Medicare counseling, just a myriad of services. Clearly, we needed to identify how that could be done virtually. And for those who couldn't do it virtually, again, submitting plans to the county on how we would be able to do those, offer those services safely in a one-on-one environment. So far, what that has meant was, now bear in mind, this does not include numbers from this year's from 2021, because those programs will not be counted yet. So this is all last year during the pandemic. So we managed to figure out how to help 400 individuals get their taxes done. That was down from about 800 in a normal year. We managed to support 300 people with property tax and rent rebates, again, down from about 800. And astoundingly, we managed to track and record more than 25,000 phone calls requesting information, assistance, other services, maybe even referral to another community organization or to a government agency. I don't know about you, but I think that that was enough work.
Yes.
But because we are continually looking for ways to improve our services, we thought that a pandemic was a very good time to do a merger that wasn't really a merger. So you are probably familiar with another organization that was situated just to our east, the Downingtown Area Senior Center, who for the past several years has been renting space from Thorndale United Methodist Church. Unfortunately, Downingtown was a struggling organization. The county had asked us a couple of times to step up and submit plans on how we might be able to help Downingtown succeed. We as Coatesville were not really in a place to be able to lend that hand. We were still righting our own ship. As COVID has done to many organizations, it took a struggling organization and caused further damage. And so the county reached out to us again, and we sat down with the county and with Downingtown and worked out a plan of what we could do. So the short and the long of it is the Downingtown Area Senior Center will legally cease to exist. They have filed their dissolution paperwork, so the organization will not be a legal entity when the courts make that final announcement. In the meantime, the county contracted with us to provide senior center services in the Downingtown community. We recognized that Coatesville Area Senior Center may not be an adequate name in the borough of Downingtown. And so we went through a rename and rebrand, coming up with Brandywine Valley Active Aging, paying a little homage to the fact that the Brandywine travels through both of those communities. It sort of ties us both together. And we have 3 campuses now through Brandywine Valley Active Aging. We have our main campus, which is in the city of Coatesville still. The Downingtown campus, which we have successfully moved back to the borough of Downingtown, temporarily using space at Brandywine Grace Church, which is basically in the center of the borough. And then our 3rd campus would be our virtual campus. And I've mentioned it in these meetings before. You all know that I'm a Downingtown boy, born and raised, but I came to Coatesville 5 years ago and you all stole my heart. So everything we do, we make sure that everybody knows that it's Coatesville Area Senior Center who saved Downingtown Area Senior Center and not the other way around.
Thank you.
And I know that I am probably the only thing between you and your dinner, so I tried to keep tonight's presentation short. This final slide here, by the way, all these slides are snipped from a video presentation that we have put together about our COVID response. And it will be up on our website and on social media this week, so I hope you'll check it out. It's a serious video, but with a little hint of fun, because we can't take life so seriously all the time. But this last image is the team just wishing you all to be safe, be healthy, and to let you know that we miss you. And even Weston's in there too. So
Yeah.
I don't think I used my entire time. I'm happy to take any questions if those exist, or I'll
But
just be
you-
quiet
George,
and let you get
we
on
just-
with your way.
We thank you so much. You've been so busy. So grateful for how you've taken care of our seniors in our community and provided so much, and this met every need. And I know I vouch for the calls because I get one every day. I guess I'm a senior. But your work is so needed and so appreciated in our community. And as you were going through the numbers, I mean, 35,000 lunches. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And I'm just very grateful for your organization and all the hard work that you put into it. You guys are fabulous over there. I enjoy every time I come there. Go miss George, but I enjoy every time that I come there. Does council anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Pierce?
I have a comment. Hi, Mr. Pierce. How are you? I'm Nydia. So I used to do caregiving, and it struck me as really important when you were talking about social isolation and the relationship between social isolation and dementia, and how you guys were considering that. I took a very quick course with maybe about 8 hours, but a ton of information on dementia. I actually used to run the training, so I listened to the videos over and over again. And that's one of the things that is so important, and that honestly concerned me at the beginning of the pandemic, because what's going to happen to folks who are isolating, what's going to be the effects. So I just want to appreciate the work you guys have done around mitigating the social isolation, and therefore mitigating the consequential symptoms and possible onslaught of rapidly aging and possibly exposure to dementia.
Yes, thank you for noticing that.
Yeah, Bill, Councilman folks, how you doing, man? Yeah, man, you are a beacon of light in our town. I see it because I seen you in action. You don't hesitate to help or to feed our seniors. Very impressed of the your people that work there, how you all just came together. And it's like you're helping, everybody got each other's back. I saw that while I was sitting in there for a couple hours just watching and learning a little bit. Man, keep on doing what you're doing. If you ever need anything, man, I got your back. If I can help, well, we already talked about that. So I'm just waiting on your phone call.
We'll be calling.
So
Anyone else?
Keep up the good work.
Job well done. We appreciate everything you do for your community, Bill.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, I echo the sentiments of my colleagues. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
And the same, Bill. I think everything you do there is phenomenal, but you already know that because you service my sister. And so thank you for all you do. I do have one question. So your vaccinations that you do there, are they now open to everybody, or is it just 65 and older?
Yeah, so the health department is still managing the vaccinations. We're just providing them the space. So I keep telling folks, we're just the ballroom, they're the wedding. It's my understanding that they are trying to use, there's 3 senior centers that they're using as vaccination sites. They're trying to reserve the senior centers for people in the 60 and older population, just as, making them familiar and friendly places who are already intended to serve that population. That being said, it's my understanding that if you go out to the county's website to schedule your appointment, you're able to select whatever location is available on the day that you're looking for. So I think it's a two-sided question there, or the answer is two-sided, that the intent is for it to be people 65 and older. The opportunity is for everybody.
Okay, because everybody I sent, I gave them a lot of names and they scheduled the appointments, but
Yeah.
they were all 65 and older. I just didn't
Yeah.
know if that had changed.
Yeah, and I think, Councilwoman, over time, that's going to continue to expand. We've been asked to continue the site through the end of October at this point. So
Okay.
it would be my belief that we would get out of the 60+ population at some point in time.
Okay, and thank you for doing that as well. That's very important here.
Yes, it is. We want to get them back in, so we got to do everything we can to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Bill. Thank you so much for your presentation, and I wish you all well. Thank you so much.
All. Thank you for allowing me the time, and have a good evening.
Yeah. You too. Okay. Mr. Logan, do we have C-Town ready?
I think we do. Do we have representatives of C-Town? Yes, I do see them. C-Town is just kind of tee it up. C-Town is a grocery store on the East Coast that is interested in coming into the city of Coatesville. They have identified Coatesville as a food desert, which we all have known for a number of years. Chip Houston, our assistant city manager, has actually visited C-Town, went out, took a look, took pictures, and he was very pleased to the product that C-Town has. This is something that actually started a little bit before I moved into this position, and Chip came on board. So we've been trying to work closely with C-Town, letting them know the demographics of our community, as well as the need in the city of Coatesville to have a good produce, a good grocery store that can serve our residents and citizens here in Coatesville. So I'm going to turn it over to either, let's see, is that David?
Yes, good evening.
Oh, there you are. Okay. There's so many people on this call, I can't find you. David, are you going to kick it off?
Yes. Am I coming through audio okay? Everybody can hear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. So I'm Dave Keener. I'm the project engineer. We have the project architect, Ken Budd. And I'm
here, Juan.
Oh,
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Juan. Juan's on the phone. Juan Almanzar is the representative of the owner to for the project. I'm going to share a screen here.
And Dave or Juan or Ken, could either one of you guys just kind of provide a little bit of history to how we got to this part?
Well, I think Juan was interested in the, I'm sorry, first of all, I'm Kenneth Budd, I'm the project architect. And Juan was interested in bringing a grocery store to Coatesville. He found the property there at 245 East Lincoln Highway. And we've been in the process of working on this project now since April of 2019. And moving along steadily. And we're to this point. Basically, we went through and did a set of working drawings, submitted them to the health department for their review, submitted them to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for their review, sent them over to LTL Consultants for their review. And so far, everybody signed off on it. And I guess this is pretty much one of the last hurdles that we're looking at. Dave is taking care of our issues for the site and parking. I mean, it is an existing mercantile building, well, existing 2 mercantile buildings. And we plan on converting them into one grocery store. There's a couple apartments upstairs on the 2nd floor that we're just going to clean up and re-rent out as market rate apartments. But at this point, we're looking for the approval to put the grocery store in on the 1st floor. And Dave, I'll let you take it from there.
Yes.
All right. So this is just to give you an idea of the area, to familiarize ourselves. This is the two structures that Ken mentioned here at 245 East Lincoln Highway, and we'll talk about this later on. But there's a public parking lot here that adjoins this building. So Seatown Supermarket, they're Juan is owner. This will be the 4th one. There's one in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 2 in York, Pennsylvania, and then so this will be the 4th one in Coatesville location. This is a little video to give you an idea of the layout of a typical store. This is the one that opened up in York recently, and it's just give you an idea on what the layout will, or representative of the layout in the store that anticipate there in the Coatesville location. So as you can see, it's pretty much a typical layout of the grocery store, and you have your refrigeration section, and I'll just let this play here a little bit. I don't know if there's I'll speed it up a little bit. And then along with that, there was a news on a news piece that was done on, and I'll let this play. Hopefully the audio comes through okay.
I don't think the audio will come through on this.
That audio didn't come through?
No.
Okay,
No.
I apologize for that. It basically was saying that there's the Seatown stores are independently owned and operated, and this was the grand opening of the store there in York. This is the store in Lancaster.
Yes.
And there were there's carts here that are located in front of this store, and I guess we understood that wasn't necessarily a desirable thing there at the Coatesville location, and so the architect looked at a space inside the store. I don't know if there's anything you can add on that, Ken.
But we'll have provisions in place to keep the carts within the store, so they don't end up all over town.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
So this is an overhead view. Again, this is Third Avenue is here to the east, and Second, and then Diamond Street is to the rear of the store. And this will be the loading area here to the rear. and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. This is the existing streetscape, and there's not, planning to maintain that pretty much. There'll be some changes to the facade of the building. As you can see, they look like two separate buildings, but Ken has developed this plan here to create a more of a uniform look there at the street level for the grocery store. And yeah, so this is what it looks like now, and this is the artist rendition, just kind of showing, with the new storefronts in there, the windows, to make it look uniform across the two different structures. This is the layout of the store. Again, this is on the east side, and then there's a wall, a party wall that goes between the two stores, or between the existing stores, but that'll be eliminated to allow for it to be all open space there between the two separate structures. So I don't know, is there anything you want to add on that, Ken?
Well, just that the front elevation, we just want to tie the street level facade together to make it one uniform, or make it look like one uniform building. But everything above the first floor level, I want to try to maintain as the existing building. I don't want to change the structure. I don't want to change the facade of the original building. We'll be using a sign panel over the front entry, and that's about it for the front, except that, we're just going to tie the two buildings together. I do understand that you're going to be doing some modification on the streetscape, and we get the information for that. We'll try to incorporate that in.
All right. So the next item we wanted to cover is as far as the parking requirements. This is in a commercial area, and so as far as I'll show the parking calculation, but this circle here represents the 500 feet from the store location, and that comes into play as far as the calculation for parking. So you can see here with the retail space, zoning requires there to be one parking space for every 500 square feet of retail floor area. And you divide that out as 29 spaces. You have one space for each dwelling unit. There's 4 dwelling units. So that's a total of 33 spaces. There's within this mixed use development area, there's a allowance for a 40% reduction in the parking requirements if there are publicly owned parking lots. I mentioned the one that's adjacent there, and there's also another lot located at the southeast corner of Lincoln Highway and South 3rd Avenue. With that 40% reduction, that's 13 spaces. And then there are more than 50 spaces out on Lincoln Highway. And there's an allowance for 40%. 40% of those spaces you can count towards your parking requirements. So between those spaces and this the public parking lots. There's 33 spaces that are provided for this use. So this is the view from Diamond Street looking into the public parking area there on the east side of the building. This is Diamond Street looking at the rear of the building. You can see there's an offset here. So this area will be cleaned up, and this would be the area where deliveries would be made into the rear of the building. And so there with Diamond Street, there would, with the size of the trucks that would be coming in here, they would be able to be in this space and clear enough space for traffic to be maintained on Diamond Street. This is just a view looking at the public parking lot there on the southeast corner of 3rd and Lincoln Highway. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions, any comments or questions. Oh, before I do that, let's. I wanted to give Juan I'll ask him a few questions for his response, and I just wanted to ask him how long he's been in the grocery retail business, and confirm that there are the 4 stores there. And what attracted you to this Coatesville location?
That will be the 5th one. We got 4. We got 2 in Lancaster and 2 in York. And to answer your question, we see Coatesville as a growing town, which would like to be part of the development. And driving around Coatesville, we didn't see a grocery store with the varieties of products that we could carry. And that was one of the main things. Plus, we read on the news that Coatesville is the 10th biggest Hispanic city of PA.
All right, and so with as far as how many jobs you typically have at a store this size, and where do you usually how do you get employees? Where do you look for employees for a location such as Coatesville?
Well, before we open the store, we just let people get application to fill out, and that's how we start getting our employees in all the stores that we have. People come in and just fill out applications. And we're thinking about over there, we might start with 20 or 25 employees. It depends of how the store start growing.
And I mean, we were talking earlier about most of the customers are probably going to be residents within a few blocks of the grocery store itself. So a lot of people are probably going to be walking into these grocery stores instead of driving to it, because everything is. I mean, that's what we're looking at here, a walkable city. So that is going to be another one of the benefits of being downtown.
Well, you guys are aware that the parking lots are a paid parking lot. They're not free parking, correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding, that there's Well, I'm not sure that I see it in this photo, but being out there at the site, there was a kiosk there where you would pay to park.
Correct.
And there's the parking meters on the street as well. So I guess, yeah, that's it's all public parking.
Now, I have a question. Is this grocery store going to be primarily a Spanish grocery store?
No, it'll be diverse. We carry products, a huge varieties of products for, I would say, every customers.
Mhm. Is this like an outlet, a grocery outlet? Like is the products all fresh products? Or is this like an outlet kind of store?
Next, like a grocery store, I would say similar to Giant, a little bit smaller.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Green, were you finished?
Yes.
Okay. I have several questions. What is your ratio from fresh produce to processed foods? Will you guys take EBT and SNAP benefits?
Yes.
Okay. Are you willing to work with programs that offer like matching SNAP dollars?
Like which one?
Like when people buy groceries with their SNAP dollars, there's programs that like match SNAP dollars and give back like SNAP bucks that you can use the next time.
Well, we do weekly sales in the store.
Okay. You do so. And then you mentioned that there will be 25 employees. What are the wages? What's the starting wage?
It all depends of the area.
Okay.
And
Are you playing?
Go ahead.
Like, for example, what's the starting wage in Lancaster?
$9 for the cashiers.
Okay. And then the other question, are you guys franchised? Because you said independently owned and operated. Are
Yeah.
the store franchises?
Yeah, it's a franchise with our roots planted in New York City. If you go online, Seatown Supermarket, there's a website with a lot of info, so you can learn more about the project.
Okay. And then it looks like from here that the building, the tenants, there's no tenants up top. Is that true? There's no tenants right now currently?
Yeah, we're gonna fix it up, but it's empty.
Okay.
Now, I just want to go back to her question about salary. You said $9 is the wage for cashiers in Lancaster. Now,
Yeah.
you do understand that Lancaster has a lower DMA than Coatesville as far as
Yes,
wage?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was just a question to add to give her, because once we get the store running, we just want to comply with Coatesville. Every city has their own rules, and once we get it going.
The cost of living DMA is lower in Lancaster than it is here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah. Carmen, I have a question. Do you own the building now?
Yes.
Do you have the money to do this job?
Yes. That's why we bought the building.
Okay. Now, if we say yes, and how long will it be till that store opens?
With the COVID situation right now, it'll take us like a year, a little bit less than a year, but around there.
Because we hear this we see this. But, you know, we've been here before when people come into our town. I just want to be sure.
Okay, I understand that. I was feeling,
I don't want, look, these residents in this town has been starving. And we've been telling them this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and it never happens. So that's why I'm asking you right now up front.
yes, and I understand. I felt the same way before we bought the building. We met with the last city manager trying to get approval for this project before even buying the building. And he was the one who gave us the okay to purchase the building. So
No, like I said, that's all I wanted to know, sir, was the building yours? Do you have the money, and are you going to finish the project?
okay.
That's it.
All right.
You know, it's yes, yes, and yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right.
I have a question, if I may.
Go ahead.
You're not going to require any variances or anything like that to open this, are you?
Will you say that again?
Well,
You're not going to require any variances, any code variances or anything
at
like
the
that?
point that we are right now, I mean, we just basically got finished getting the health department approval, the sewer approval. We just got an approval from LTL consultants. The only thing that's keeping us from getting the building permit is meeting with the city council. That is our, as far as I understand, this is our last step. The only issue we had was the site parking, and this was an existing mercantile building. It was all retail space before. Maybe Dave, maybe you can help jump in here, but I really don't see anything that's going to hold us back from completing this project.
Were you guys affiliated with Bravo? Were you
I'm
affiliated with the Bravo market? Were you affiliated with the market, the Bravo market?
Yes, yes. Bravo and C-Town are owned for the same company in New York. So we have two Bravos, one in Lancaster and one in York.
Okay.
And the two C-Town, one here in Lancaster and one in York too.
Okay, sir. Carmen, what's the difference between Bravo and C-Town?
It just brand name. That's it.
Okay.
Franchise name.
Yes.
And when Mike Trio was involved, that's what he had brought to us was the Bravo.
Bravo, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. He gave us the idea C-Town, that's a Coatesville, and that's why we changed the name. Say, okay, let's gonna do a C-Town better, because
C-Town sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Well, we long needed a grocery store in Coatesville for a long time. And so being able to grocery shop in your own community is definitely really important. Being able to work with a living wage in your own community is also really important. And the groceries being affordable to the community is also important.
We're glad to hear that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope, you guys have covered everything pretty much. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much. We know that this is a zoning and a codes issue, not really a council issue for us to vote on. So we appreciate you coming and giving us a presentation, and hope all goes well.
All right, thank you.
I see you in 9 months. 9 months.
Will the city council recommend that Coatesville issue a permit for us?
Well,
Not our
you have
job.
to abide by whatever they need, whatever they require. Like we can't push it through.
But you would let's say recommend that.
Mrs. Green?
I don't think they need that from us. Is that right, Mr.
No.
Logan? They don't need that from us. As
Can
long
you
as you're
take down
doing the
the
things that
screen, please?
you do.
Can they
think we
take
can-
down the screen?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Anthony.
I think the most we can do is give them our blessings on it, right?
That would be
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
it's
looking
not a
for, yes.
vote. Yeah, it's not a vote from us or anything like
Right.
that. Yeah,
Mrs. Green,
yes.
this is Mr. Verway.
Okay.
Just so the individual is clear, council can offer a statement of support or whatever, but they cannot direct the codes or zoning department. That's an independent decision that is made by those folks, and the council cannot just override that. So you're still going to have to address the zoning and codes issues independent of whatever happens tonight.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
good.
But we are in support of a grocery store in our city.
Don't speak for me. Don't speak for me.
Well,
In
I am.
support of it.
Okay.
I'm also in support.
I am
But at a living
absolutely in
wage.
support of it.
I'm support at a living wage.
I'm in support as long as it meets the needs of the community at large.
Well,
At large.
well said, Mrs. Hunt.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you again, C-Town. We appreciate you
thank
coming
you.
out.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow.
We're down to discussion items. Is there any discussion on meeting minutes? Mr. Logan, summer events.
Yes, as I mentioned in previous meetings, the city of Coatesville, as well as other municipalities, are beginning to open up a little bit more. This week, we have received about 4, well, not this week, but in total, we have about 4 special event applications for our parks. These are things ranging from the soccer league that normally rents out the park for the summer year. We have a rugby team that will be coming back. All of these, or I should say both of these, have submitted COVID guidelines to the protection of their players. We have informed them what our guidelines are here in the city of Coatesville. In addition to that, I think we have 1 or 2 requests for June events. These will be outdoor parties for families. One will be in Ash Park. I think one will be in Abdullah Park. But I guess one of the things I just want to make note to the council members is that when we talked about special events earlier this year, we talked about how we would gradually start to accept applications. And I think, Ruth Ann, if you're on the phone, do we have a total of 6? Is that how many we have now?
And I think I have one more to add to that. I told her I would get back to her after tonight's meeting.
Okay.
Do
Ruth Ann, do
Go
you?
ahead.
Well, I think we have about 6 total.
Yeah, 6 at this time.
Okay, thank you. So in addition to that, as I said, as we open up parks, I've also been, kind of bouncing off to Mr. Simpson. What are we going to do with the Grand Prix? I've received a number of requests from individuals asking about the Grand Prix. And it's something that I think we should move forward on. It's a great event.
I
I
agree.
mean, it's outdoors, and it is something that I think a lot of people would like to see. And Mr. Simpson, if you have any comments at this time you'd like to make on the Grand Prix, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
would it be
so-
September?
Yeah, it would be the same weekend that we've always had it, the 3rd weekend in September. There's been a lot of buzz. Everybody's asking, are you going to have it? Are you going to have it? Everybody wants to know. So we have spoken to the same people that helped us run the actual pit road and the flaggers, and they did all the starting and everything like that. They'd like to make this thing grow a little bit. They'd like to add a cruise night, which is basically just people coming in and cruising through Coatesville in street rods, whatever kind of car they want to bring, classic sports cars and have a cruise night. And it basically just be a nice slow, no organized, just people would cruise through town. They do it in different cities around. And basically, people just come, show up, ride through town nice and slow with your classic cars, and everybody looks at them. And the streets would be closed with the fencing because of the race the following morning. So it'll be a nice thing for, the guys that come in and all different types of cars. There's no, like the Grand Prix is just for classic sports cars, race cars. The cruise night will be for anybody that has a car like a street rod or a hot rod of some sort. Car. They would like to do that on Friday, have the race on Saturday. And then they are trying to do what's called an autocross, which is a race, a timed race on like a closed course, like a parking lot, or like there's a tarmac at the end of the runway up at the airport, and that's one of the things that they're talking about and they'd like to do, and kind of make this thing like a weekend event that people would come in from outside of town, come in for the weekend and kind of hang out and stay. And they'd like to make this thing grow. And I think it's a fantastic idea. And there's a lot of buzz and talk that, hey, that would be great, adding the cruise night and, the race. And so they said they would come back and run the race, help us run the race. So
would you guys be interested and open to adding maybe in that cruise night to allow people to register those bikes and stuff that they ride through here sometime?
Oh, that would be really cool. The dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the chief, I don't know if we could control that. They're not licensed.
They would have to be registered. They would have to register for the event, and the road.
Well, but they'd have to be licensed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They'd have to have a license, and most of these dirt bikes don't.
But I'm saying, that's why I'm saying they would have to be registered to participate, like, go in and register to participate.
I'd rather keep it to the cars. If we want to do a separate thing for bikes and somebody wants to pick up on that, I think, we're just trying to keep in tradition with the cars. They've actually are going to cut back on the motorcycles in the race. Yeah, they're not going to, there's not going to be a class like that. It's just going to be like a touring bike. They want to get back to just more traditional with the cars.
Okay.
But yeah, they're super excited about it. They have a club, Brandywine Motorsports Club, and they're super, like they say, they're very enthusiastic about it.
I think
because nothing happened last year, I think everybody and their brother is going to want to come out to it this year, because there's not, we didn't have it last year.
Yeah,
we're going to be scrambling to come out. But what I'd like to do is, if we could, this is going to take some planning, and we need to start fundraising right away. If we could get a motion tonight that council supports it, then we can start with that and get it, instead of waiting for another couple of weeks.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Khadija. Okay.
The folks that are up and down the street, that, stand along the streets and stuff, how are you going to ensure that they follow all the guidelines for COVID?
Well,
the people that attend, you mean?
Pardon?
Of course, the COVID guidelines would be, whatever guidelines that we are at that time. If it's a requirement for masks, then everybody wears a mask.
Okay, but like if there's a requirement for some type of social distancing, how are you going to ensure that for the folks that come out to watch it?
Well, I think that, I don't know if we even, now there is everybody, it's just ingrained in everybody's mind right now that you just stay apart. I know I find myself, if I go somewhere and somebody gets close to me or whatever like that, your natural reaction is to back away. And I think most people would, I don't know if we need the COVID police out there, but there will be social distancing requirements and
Like, especially right now, because we are in the red, right?
right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, and that's why we want to get this planned for September, and hopefully, and if something comes up and it gets worse by then and they shut the state down again, then we just comply with what we're doing.
Right. But at least start putting plans in motion.
Yes, and that's why I'm asking if we could, I'll make a motion now that we get council's approval to move forward with this thing and start planning on everything. I'd like to do it with council's blessing. If somebody would second it, we can do that.
We would have to move that to an action item, right?
Yeah.
A hard time hearing.
So Mr. Simpson has made a motion.
I'll second that.
Mm-hmm. That's to move it to the action item, so then.
Action item.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony, is this an action item?
Well, I don't know you're taking any formal action other than a statement of support.
Right.
Is that correct, Mr. Simpson? So I think you
that's all I'm looking for is the support.
just ask council if they support it now, and that should be sufficient.
Okay.
Okay.
Just take a vote. I knew we had to move.
You have my blessing.
For support. Yeah, you have my blessings.
Mine also.
Right.
Mine, as long as the
Social
CDC
distancing,
guidelines are followed for the folks on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I support it. I do wonder how to bring in our local riding community, but maybe it's just the cars thing. We can maybe talk about it as we workshop through it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Now, as
We'll let everybody know, and we can start moving forward with raising the funds and everything like that. So, all right.
Yep.
Thank you,
Since we were
Mr.
talking
Okay.
about events, is there anything that we need to talk about regarding our emergency declaration?
Are we still talking about summer events?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying because we are talking about that, I just was asking a question if we needed to discuss our emergency declaration.
I thought it canceled. I thought it's lifted. I thought it.
That is correct, Mr. Foltz. The city's emergency declaration has expired. And we're still under the state, the Commonwealth's.
Right.
We're still under the Commonwealth's emergency order, but the city order has expired.
Okay.
Thank
you, Mr. Burwell.
You're welcome.
So why wasn't it brought back to us to discuss again to see if we wanted to reinforce it?
We did discuss that a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Right. We that's what I'm saying. We extended it then, but now it's expired unless it was at the meeting that I wasn't here. Why didn't we have opportunity to discuss it again to see if we wanted to keep it where it was?
No, you was Miss Hunt. You was absent. You was out of town.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't recall seeing it in the minutes that I read from when I wasn't here. Okay. It's no problem. As long as
I don't think that we discussed it like that. I think that we when we extended it to that date and would readdress it by that date if we wanted, and we did not. I don't think that
We discussed it and we said we would just let it expire.
Okay. Okay. So I missed that. Okay. As long as we as council as a whole had an opportunity to do that, I'm okay with it. Okay.
So, Mr. Logan, I have a question too. If we're talking about our annual events, are we considering Unity Day?
No, we're not considering Unity Day. We're going to continue on with the second part of Unity Day, which is our music series. So we are going to be planning our summer jazz series moving forward. That will be in multiple parks this year. And like Mr. Simpson, who will be beginning planning for the Grand Prix, that committee will receive an invitation to meet the month of May.
Okay. And are we considering adding in some other genres like rap and hip hop and stuff too to the jazz series?
We did that.
And country.
All genre.
Country.
And country as well. Thank you.
Yeah, but if there's country jazz out there, sure. But
We had hip hop. We had hip hop. We had jazz. We had country.
Spoken word,
We had gospel.
spoken word.
I think that is up to the committee when we have our few series of meetings.
Okay,
But-
sure.
But
And what?
the idea was to kind of make it a jazz series because we do have a
Exactly,
large,
yeah. Jazz is jazz. Jazz isn't hip hop.
right,
So if we're
right.
gonna
We do have a
change
large,
it, to be inclusive, we're gonna have to change the name. So.
Wouldn't it
we
be
have a
nice to have a
large-
jazz festival in the spring sometime?
that would be nice. That would be
Yeah,
nice.
it would be.
And then the other suggestion that I have, maybe this is to the committee, is that, I've seen a lot of communities have those like closed off wine and beer gardens. I don't know what it takes to run that. I know it's like, a ton of laws and stuff like that, but sometimes people like a little added fun. If they're old enough to partake and get a wristband and sit in the closed off area with the wine and beer.
And our one Unity Day, we had that. We had Miller High Life and all of that. We considered it last year, but it was just not enough time, I think.
Correct.
But we have had that in the past.
Hey, we can drop a couple tailgates and put some kegs on there.
My kind of party.
Eggs filled with
like that.
ginger ale.
But to answer your question, I mean, those are things that we can look at. The local chamber, Mixed Graves, they do work with a kind of a local brewery company that might be able to do something like that. We did have one at the Grand Prix, which hopefully they'll be back. And but yeah, those are good ideas.
Okay, thank you. That is all I had. I assume you'll be presenting like what the special events are coming up at the end of the meeting.
Well, those special events are basically what's going on in the park. So just to finish up on this summer events, the next item I have was 5.3. That was Fresh to You. A couple of weeks ago, I had informed council that Fresh to You had planned on having their food truck in the city of Coatesville on Saturday, starting June 5th in the gravel lot. I think Roberta is on the line, but the food bank revisited the idea for that, and I think they're going to pivot, and they're going to just remain. Let's see here if I'm reading this right, Roberta. They're going to be in the gravel lot on Thursdays from 2:30 to 4:30, and they will go back to the Coatesville Library location on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I think there is a request that they move from Lincoln Highway back to Fifth Avenue. And if they have to, due to traffic, they would actually move into the library's parking lot if they needed to do that. Roberta, did you want to comment or add anything to that?
Sure. Hi, Council. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm super excited to hear about all the developments, especially the grocery store that's coming in. And hopefully once that comes in, I'd be happy to work with them to offer our matching dollars for SNAP, just like we do at our market. So very excited to hear about that and potentially working with them in the future. But for this season, yes, we, as our response to kind of the previous year and just knowing how much our services are needed right now in Coatesville, we want to up the number of markets that we're doing per week. So not only are we going to be doing 2 regular weekly markets in Coatesville, but we will be rotating through senior centers every Friday. And one of those senior centers is the Coatesville Senior Center parking lot. So we'll be there about once a month throughout the season. But just like James said, we're looking at the lot at 3rd, just like we've been at all season long. Councilman folks, I saw you out there. Thank you for visiting. And then back on 5th, and Councilwoman Hunt, I'd like to offer all of my email, phone number. If you ever need the spaces on 5th, just shoot me a call or an email, and we'd be happy to kind of pivot our space. The reason why we'd like to be on 5th is because it's the lot, the space on 5th has that nice long grassy area, and because of COVID and because of spacing, it's just really tricky for us on 30 to keep people safely distanced. That was our experience during the year last year. That's why we asked to move to 3rd originally. If we can be back on 5th on that little grassy area and really spread out, I think we can be safe about it. There's fewer people walking on the sidewalk. It's just a better space for us. And like Mr. Logan said, if it comes right down to it, Penny has also offered the the parking lot. It's tight. It's a very small space, but we're kind of willing to make whatever we need to work.
Thank you for that, Roberta. My concern is not just for my business purposes. My concern is for the 5th Avenue area as a whole. It's a much busier place now since we have the OIC, we have the CYWA, you have people, residents that are coming, parking, going in and out of the library, and then needless to say, my clientele coming in. A daily on 5th Avenue, there is no parking. So my concern is for safety. If we have your big truck there, and I know that it's providing a great service, I do not knock that or try to soften that in any way, but I just think it's dangerous. People are trying to turn the corner both ways. They're coming across 5th Avenue. They're trying to go across to the other side of 5th Avenue and then have to negotiate coming around that truck. It's just I think it's a hazard and it's an accident waiting to happen. That's why we had suggested before for the lot on 3rd Avenue is safe. People can park. You don't have to worry about the traffic going back and forth, because a lot of times, and I'm sure you are aware too, if there's not a parking space and they want to get to your truck, they will double park, put on flashers and come across the street to the truck. It's just dangerous. So if the library is offering you their parking lot, I would suggest that, or I would suggest that you stay on Lincoln Highway or utilize 3rd Avenue more. I just think the corner of 5th Avenue is just dangerous. But, you know, I live here, I see it, I hear the skidding, you know, and there's been plenty times, and if you're over there working, you've had to hear, you know, the cars stopping, you know, skidding and trying to make sure things are right. And I just think it presents a hazard and a dangerous situation for us.
Do you think it would be any better if we pull up a little, we pull up further to the end of the library?
No, 5th Avenue is busy. Come down 5th Avenue, any of you, come down 5th Avenue on a daily. When OIC first took possession of their building, their first opportunity for parking was supposed to be in the spots that they were renting from New Life in Christ. They don't do that. They take the parking on 5th Avenue because it's closer to the building. If I know that I'm having families coming in and out, whether it's to make funeral arrangements, whether it's to bring me clothes, whether it's an actual funeral, if I don't put cones out 5 o'clock in the morning, by 7 o'clock, there's no place for anybody to park. So it's just a hazardous area. And to add that truck, even though it's just for 2 or 3 hours, to add that, I just think it adds to the opportunity for someone to have an accident that could be avoided if we didn't have the truck there. It's a great service that you have. You have great food items, but I just think park on Fifth Avenue is not the place for it.
Now, but their truck can park in the parking lot of the library.
Yeah, that's been offered to them, yes.
I have a question. So I'm sorry, did I cut someone off?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, I have a question. So Roberta, to park the truck at the library, in the library parking lot, does that ruin the setup that you have with the grassy lawn and the social distancing?
Yeah, the setup in the parking lot is concerning because we would block ourselves in, meaning we wouldn't be able to do our full setup the way we usually do. We might end up taking their entire parking lot, so people wouldn't have any place to park at the library for folks going to the library. I've never set up in there before. We managed to make pretty much any space work, so I'm sure we could make that space work if we have to. It just won't be as pleasing to walk through for people, similar to when we park on 30. If any of you kind of saw our setup on 30, it was just a little disjointed. So it didn't have that farmer's market sort of feel for people. It's just harder to set up in a way that makes sense and gives good flow for people. So we'd have to work a little harder to make sure everyone stayed safe in the lot.
Okay, and then the other question, sorry, I'm not finished. The other question I had was, have you noticed being on Fifth Avenue any accidents, or have you ever gotten to something that happened that was dangerous or almost dangerous in your observation with your truck being out there?
We've never experienced an actual accident when we've been parked on Fifth or on 30. I have seen some cars make that turn and it be dangerous. So I do know what Councilwoman Hunt is talking about. I do think if we were able to come up a little bit more on Fifth, it would be a little bit safer. We've also, when we parked on 30, we also were worried about our own personal safety because we were on Lincoln Highway operating the market. And so I was concerned about my staff safety with cars screeching to a halt at that red light on Fifth and just being on that main street. So it's, it's not ideal traffic wise. I totally get it, but I'm thinking about not only driver safety, but staff safety, volunteer safety, customer safety as well. There's a lot of safety issues coming at play here. And, Third Avenue has been absolutely wonderful, and we've gotten a really positive response about being there. But I do feel it's important for us to be a couple blocks down on Fifth again and just be open to people down that way who might not come all the way down to Third.
Yeah, Fifth is pretty.
Okay, all right. We need to cut this a little short.
Okay.
This is a codes and a zoning issue, and it's a discussion that needs to have maybe the police look into and do some type of assessment.
Yeah.
Because my concern is that we want to be concerned about making a nice presentation, having a nice setup, but we need to have that level of concern before an accident happens.
Exactly.
We don't want to wait until an accident happened to say, oh my goodness, we need to move this. Oh my goodness, we need to change this. We need to be proactive to make sure that an accident does not happen just because people are trying to patronize your truck. That's my concern. So I'm not even entertaining whether or not an accident has happened or whether or not you've seen somebody have an accident. You've heard the cars. I hear the cars. I've seen the people double park to put their flashes on to run across the street to get their produce. It's not safe. And if you have access to Third Avenue, then maybe a little more advertising to let people know that you're going to be there on Wednesdays and Thursdays or whatever would help out. I'm not opposed to your truck being in the city at all. I think it's a great service. I just think the location is bad.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking out because I'm here and I see it firsthand. So I'm not just going to sit back and wait until something happened and then come to council or to the city and say, look, there was an accident down here. I knew this was going to happen, but I just, I'm going to speak out on it because it's not safe for that truck to be on Fifth Avenue, especially with the added activity, daily activity that's out here, to include the library patrons, to include those that are going to the OIC, the CYWA, and the funeral home. It's just too much to now add a truck there for a few hours. I just think it's too much and it's a hazard.
Yeah. So, that's maybe something to consider, keeping the truck on Third Avenue. However, Mr. Logan, are you
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Is this something that we need to take action on right now?
No,
When
no,
is the
it's not an action item. It's just more of an awareness. It's a plan that Fresh to You plans to expand their services in Coatesville. I'm sure Roberta and I can go back and think about, some ideas. Roberta, I do think to Councilwoman Hunt, to her point, it has been very busy out there. I was just over there the other day, and this was a weekend, and there was no parking spaces. I don't know what's going on Fifth Avenue, but it just seems like there has been over the last several weeks a lot more cars parked over there.
Because
But you have 3 entities sharing that parking. You have the OIC, you have Mrs. Hunt's business, and you also have the CYWA.
then
And one of the days,
and then Vice President Green, you also have residents who can't park in front of their houses on Chestnut Street, parking on Fifth Avenue now because, people from the OIC that work there or wherever are getting there early and getting parking spaces. So you have all of that, that you have to take into consideration. And I also want to say to Roberta, as far as my relationship when you guys were here, it was fine. If I had a funeral, I would call over to your office and I would say, listen, on this day, I know you're scheduled to be here. I have a funeral. I'm going to need these parking spots. Will be done by. So that was perfect. But it's not just about me. It's not just about my business. It's about all the entities that are around us and the safety of those that are coming to shop at your setup. So it's not just about me, but it's for everybody involved. That's so we just need to we need to think it out a little more.
yeah, greatly noted. Okay, Mr. Logan, you and Roberta will meet and discuss this and, possibly, maybe increase her time on Third Avenue or come up with another, something else on Lincoln Highway. Not sure, but you can get back to us.
All right.
Whenever before they begin, if you could get back to us and let us know what you have worked out.
Yes.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next thing is the tax bill.
That's actually me. I asked this to be added. So last year, when the bills didn't come out on time, we waived that. It's not a late fee. If you pay your bill by March 31st, I think it is, you get like a 20 or a 20 some dollar discount.
Right.
So I've had quite a few residents call me and tell me that they did not receive their tax bill. Now, I know last year, Mr. Troutman had to get mine for me to get the early discount. And I've been in my place for almost 30 years. So I called, first I called Mr. Logan, then I talked with Mr. Troutman, and then I talked with the actual company. In my opinion, and a couple other people called, they were not really customer friendly. They asked me some questions that I don't think they should have asked. They were asking questions about my name, and then they said they most certainly sent the bill to my house, and of course I didn't get the bill. Again, I had to get the bill from Mr. Troutman, and I don't understand being here almost 30 years, and the other people that called as well. So it is my suggestion that individuals that do not get their bills, if Mr. Troutman can do the research and it is shown, they can show that they've paid their bill to get that discount, every year, then I think we need to waive that. And they actually had the nerve to tell me, to suggest to me and suggest for others that residents should call in February to make sure they're getting their bill. I don't think our residents, I think they should send them out in a timely manner. And if somebody says they didn't receive it and they can show that they've always paid their bills on time, to receive that discount, I don't really think the folks that are collecting the money for us should just say, and not in such a nice manner, that the bills are being sent out, just make sure you call in February. And so I would like council to consider waiving that. I don't know if it's $20, $25 fee, if the folks can show that they've always paid their bill to receive the discount. I don't think our residents should be penalized for not receiving a bill. Now, if somebody's always late, that's something different. But for those that always pay to get the discount, I just don't personally think they should be penalized.
Yeah, I know that.
Last year.
Yeah, I know that happened last year. I had bought a gentleman, but I did reach out to him. He received his tax bill on time and has paid it. I think that we just have to ensure that these people normally pay it during that time period. It can't be a blanket thing if we are to consider it. I'm not sure legally, because we can't change dates and extend dates. But we just have to ensure that they are the ones that they normally pay them before that expiration. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'm one of them people, Carmen. And last year, the only reason I got my bill is because Mr. Troutman got it for me. And he got it for me in enough time for me to get the discount. But I'm just saying, almost 30 years, I just find it ironic that for the last couple of years, I'm not getting my bill. And I can definitely show that every year I've paid to receive the discount. And when I called them folks, they were nasty.
Yep, they're not the nicest people to talk to. They are not.
They are not. And I don't think our residents should have to call in February to make sure a bill's coming to them. The bill should come to them. And if that means we have to send them certified, if we have to do something different, but those that pay to receive the discount, I don't think they should be penalized for not receiving a bill. And if they can show that they do this every year, I don't know if it's the mail, I don't know if it's the company we use, but I don't think they should be nasty with our residents either.
Yeah, I think it's the mail, because I got mine a long time ago, and I called that one resident who had the issue last year. He got his. So I believe it's the mail.
5 different people call me that didn't get their bill, and they normally pay their bill to receive the discount.
Yeah, I think it's the mail system, so messed up. Yeah.
So
Well, we
I do
can't
think that
penalize
if,
our residents for that either.
yeah, I think
No,
if they, so I think if someone hasn't received their bill on time or in enough time to receive the tax discount, there should be an exemption for them, because we don't even, it's hard to know if someone was intending on turning it in early for the discount this year or not. But I do think that we should waive it if, you know, they haven't received their bill in time. Because it is a service that we offer this discount. And so I think the people should receive it if they didn't get their bill on time for the discount, because that's not really their fault.
Mr. Verway, can you speak on this, please?
My recollection is that last year, the state government took some action that allowed the city to grant an extension. But generally what's being requested would likely require changing the ordinance that, or the section of the code that governs payments. It isn't something that you can just make a motion or pass a resolution. It would require an ordinance process and because it's a tax matter, it would require substantial, I think there's 3 advertising requirements, et cetera. So it can be done, but it would take some time to rewrite the ordinance if that's what council wanted to do.
I have a question about that, because last year when I brought it up, you distinctly told me that we don't have the authority to change the tax dates, that's something required from the state, and that we had to, anything that we did, we had to do individually because people have proof that they paid early. Now you're saying that we can change the ordinance, but I remember last year.
Last year it was a request for an
we had to go by the governor. Yeah.
That's right, because there was an extension of time. That's right. We would have had to have changed the ordinance structure to make an extension if it but for the governor's order. Now, this is a different situation. We're not talking about an extension that was authorized by the Commonwealth, talking about a change of the tax code.
Well, no, we weren't talking about an extension that's authorized by the Commonwealth now. We were talking about a resident who did not get to pay his tax before the expiration of the 20% discount or whatever. And we wind up waiving the fee for him and allowing him to do it. But when I brought it to council, you very distinctly told me that we don't have that authority with tax changing dates and that kind of thing, that it would have to be a case by case, which the city man, the Mike Trio at the time did waive the fee and allowed him to pay to get that 20% discount. It had nothing to do with the extension that the governor had put in. This was regarding him.
Mrs. Green, I don't remember that conversation. But as I said, generally changes in tax law have to be done by ordinance. They can't be done on a case-by-case basis. Generally, you can't waive a fee just because you want to. You would have to have a specific provision that allows a certain action to be taken. I might have to look at the tax code, but generally speaking, you don't have the authority to change the tax code just by saying we're going to waive it for X citizen and not for Y citizen. It has to be uniform across all treatment under the Constitution of Pennsylvania.
For everybody, is that what you're saying? So we have to change it, even though just change the ordinance period.
Application of the tax code has to be uniform as to all similarly situated taxpayers.
Rich, I see your hand is up. You're on mute.
It's just sometimes it seems like you're getting 2 different answers for 2 different situations. I don't understand.
If I may, a couple of comments. One is that I confirmed a couple of facts with Keystone, who is our collector. First, all the bills were mailed on February 1st. Second is that the monetary piece of it is a 2% discount, and it would apply to the real estate tax and the solid waste portion if paid by March 31st. And then April and May would be at face value. Next is, I did follow up on Ms. Alamin's comments about how she was treated, and Keystone is reviewing their tape. And I don't have any results back on that, but I wanted to let you know that we did follow up on that, and we do take customer service seriously through our agents, in this case, Keystone. So I had that conversation with their supervisor, and they're going to follow up on that. And then I have to defer to council and Mr. Verway's guidance on what can and can't be done. But there are some factors that I would absolutely encourage you to consider, and that would be, how long do you allow for the period after the March 31st timeline? And just take into account that I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but there is a burden on researching each one of these. And lastly, it also would be a factor as to, in general, for all aspects of our government management, we rely on owners, whether they're apartment rental owners or owners for permitting or whatever. Our basic tenet is that the individual is expected to know the rules and comply with them. And so that's why Keystone shouldn't be nasty, and we'll follow up on that. But we do understand that they need to be polite, firm, persistent in what the rules are. So again, I defer to council and Mr. Verway. Those are some comments.
Mr. Troutman, I'd like to say, of course, homeowners, whatever, you know, most do know that, you know, I guess certain bills are due at certain times, but I don't think it's the individual's responsibility to call the company and say, make sure you mail my bill. And I'm going to say this. They may have said they sent them out February 1st, but I did not get a bill. So I'm going to suggest that maybe council for next year, these bills get sent out certified. And here's the reason why. If you get a pink slip, green, orange, whatever it is, and you sign for it, then they know that you received the bill. If the post office does not return a slip showing that attempts were made for it to be delivered at that address, then you know the person didn't get the bill. And Mr. Troutman, you know, last year, the only reason I got my bill is because when I didn't get one, I called and you said that you would give me one. But I don't have to call PECO every month to tell them to send me my bill. I don't have to call cable every month. I don't have to call the water company. I don't have to call the school district. I don't have to call the county. I got my county taxes. I paid that, you know, with the early discount. I've never, with any tax bill, not paid before the discount, except this issue that I'm having with the city tax bill.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I apologize, but I gotta get up 3 o'clock. I'm gonna
All right, Mr. Simpson.
get out of here. I apologize, so.
Yep, no problem.
See you. All right, good
Have a
night.
good night.
Thank you.
I totally understand, and I've had several conversations with Keystone about your situation. We don't know why it's happened now. They checked the records 3 years in a row for you. They just honestly don't know why.
But last year I got my bill from you early enough to get the discount.
Yeah, I understand. And we've been researching, trying to figure out what is happening with your address. And we know that it's been 3 years in a row. And so we have put a flag to to manually double check next year. But I would comment that if council does entertain the certified piece of it, that would be a real burden on Keystone, and it would cost us probably 4,000 mailings times roughly $7-ish. That would be $28,000 of postage. So that's a heavy price to be paying for potentially and I don't want to minimize it for the few, but there is an overall cost to go down that path.
I have a question, Jackie.
Yes.
Do you know when their taxes were postmarked? Like, what was the postmark date on them?
What she told me is I should call each year at the beginning of February. And Carmen, you know, I've been here 30 years. It's ironic that for that whole time, a bill has never been late. Now, I didn't get a bill in 19. So when I got the bill from City Hall, I paid it at face value. Last year, I didn't get the bill, but Mr. Troutman got me a bill in time to get the discount. I never got a bill last year either. And this year, a resident called me and said, I didn't get my city tax bill. I said, I didn't get mine either.
Oh, they never got them at all?
Pardon me?
Are you saying they never got them at all?
Nope. Nope. I got a call from 4 or 5 people. They never got it at all. And when I called Keystone to discuss it with them, they were rude. And then they wanted to know why my tax bill said Khadijah Alameen, AKA my name before I changed it. Well, really, that's none of their business. When you change your name and a property is still under a deed where you owe a mortgage, that AKA is put there. But once it's paid for, they drop it off. So even though it shows at the county, my other bills don't come like that, but why would they question me about that anyway? And then the lady said to me, well, I'm telling you, we mailed it. And I said, ma'am, I'm not saying you didn't mail it. What I'm telling you is I didn't receive it. Now, it's not a hardship for me to pay the bill at face value, but for some of the seniors, that extra $25, I can't say it's not a hardship for them.
Yeah. So, Mr. Troutman, have you taken any calls from residents complaining about that besides the 5 people that Ms. Alameen is mentioning?
No, I haven't gotten any, and I've talked to Ms. Alameen, and I asked Keystone how many have they reissued for requests, and they haven't. So we're trying to figure out how and why this is happening, but we're attributing it to the mail, but we also don't know why 3 years in a row, one person has had the same issue. So, the best I can figure out moving forward with Ms. Alameen or Councilwoman Alameen is if there is a resident who's having multiple years like that, we can do a one-off and get a copy of it and make sure it's dropped in their mailbox or something of that nature on a one-on-one basis. And that's what I've already counted that for next year so that we can remember to address it and hope the mail works, but have a safety net.
Can we put out, like, say, for next year, February 1st, the bills are sent. Put something on our website stating that tax bills have been sent out. If you've not received
absolutely. In fact, I tend to remember in my report in January or February, if not both, that they were out there and to encourage people to be paying. I don't recall exactly, but I tend to remember that I mentioned it once or twice. On my communication, I don't know exactly what was posted or not posted. But
A newsletter
absolutely, we
would
can
be
do,
awesome if we could do that.
yes, yeah, we can do more of that kind of communication
Mhm.
to do friendly reminders.
A newsletter would be cheaper than doing certified mail on all the tax bills.
Can I make a
Think-
recommendation that we kind of, it
Yeah.
seems like there's going to be several steps to this. And
Well, I'm just trying to save us from redoing the ordinance for taxes based on the few people not receiving. And now Tony's saying for the one-offs, we couldn't just approve them because they always pay by that deadline, which, I mean, to me is a simple fix. That's why I asked if Mr. Troutman received other calls or if Keystone has received other calls, and they have not. So for the 5 people that we have, if we can't make that adjustment, and then next year just put forth a little bit more effort of notifying the residents that the tax bills are going out and to look for them. That's all I'm asking.
Listen, it's not a
Sure.
hardship for me to pay the bill at face value. I'm just saying.
But for
I should
others, it
have
might
the
be.
option. The option
Yeah.
should not be taken away from me or anybody
Exactly.
else.
Exactly. I agree.
so Rich, we'll work on what the process is going to be. You'll follow up with Keystone. And as I said, it sounds like there's a few other additional steps that we need to take. And if we need to consult with Anthony on the ordinance changes, we'll do so and present it back to council.
Thank you.
Okay. We have no citizens, no action items, so we can open up our citizens hearings. Is that right? Or no?
Do you want to skip the reports, Councilwoman?
Yeah,
or-
I'm sorry. Yes.
Don't we have to close?
We have not opened up. We don't have any action items, so
Okay.
does that mean that we don't have any citizen hearings right now because we don't have action items?
I would suggest just go through the formality of opening and closing those items just for the
Okay.
minutes.
Okay. Citizens hearing.
I make a motion that we close that item.
I'll second.
Great. Our whole council, Mr. Logan.
Thank you. Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
and Councilman Simpson
He
left
left.
early.
Yes.
5-0 carries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a motion for regular action items?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Whole council, Mr. Logan.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
5-0 carries. Thank you.
We're on to our reports. Mr. Verwey?
Madam Vice President, since our last meeting, I've addressed zoning and codes issues with staff, attended meetings regarding updates on pending projects in the city of Coatesville, and have worked on certain real estate matters related to leases by the city. And that, Madam Vice President, unless there are any questions, that is my report.
Thank you, Mr. Verwey. Any questions, anyone? On to Mr. Logan, City Manager report.
Thank you. Just a couple of updates. Coatesville train station, at our last project call with PennDOT and Amtrak, they've worked out the early design issues giving way to a June construction bid packet going out to the contractors. So we're very excited about that. Many of you on council received a notification from me last week. That notification was from our grant consultant, Colleen Terry, notifying the city of Coatesville that we were awarded $650,000 for a multimodal transportation fund grant from the DCED program. Congratulations to the city of Coatesville.
Yes.
That particular grant was supported by our friends, Representative Williams and Senator Comita. They both supported the grant, both helped push it through, and we're very grateful that they are supporting the city of Coatesville on the team. In addition to that, of course, we also received the support of our county commissioners to keep moving this project forward. The Multimodal Transportation Fund is a fund designed to improve Pennsylvania's transportation and infrastructure and ensure safer, more reliable transportation and accommodation across the Commonwealth. So for the city of Coatesville, this means a tremendous amount going towards the completion of our garage as well as our 4th Avenue train station. So congratulations again to all of you. Thank you for the support from Representative Williams and Comita, as well
Question,
as,
Mr. Logan.
Thank you. Thank you.
our commissioners. I'm sorry?
I said I have a quick question, Mr. Logan. Is any of the transportation fund going towards extra bus routes?
Well, this is a specific grant, not for bus routes. So
Okay.
that would be something separate that we can talk to Tim Phelps from TMAC and the commissioners on that.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see, on the community update side, the city will reunite with Kutztown University this year to launch its entrepreneur program. Those sessions will begin June 8th. And following the sessions, as we did last year, we will have pop-up events starting June 26th throughout the year. Last year, even with COVID, we did outdoor pop-ups. We had the tent spaced out probably more than 10 feet apart. We only had 15 vendors. This year we may get 20, depending on what our numbers look like. But they have been very successful in bringing people out, looking at some of our local entrepreneurs, shopping with some of our local entrepreneurs. And this year, we plan on combining not only the emerging entrepreneurs, but also individuals who are in their, let's say, stage 1 to stage 4 of their businesses. So it should be a nice kind of blended event with emerging and existing businesses. In addition to that, we are partnering SCORE on this to provide a mentoring component so that these individuals who are just getting their feet wet into entrepreneurship and business, they will have mentors from SCORE to provide them with some guiding tools and support as they're continuing their journey in running a business. I want to give a special thanks to Miss Arlene Miles. Miss Arlene Miles, she coordinated 2 kind of cleanup days over the last 2 weeks. I think the first one was on Charlotte Street. The last one was on the 100 and 200 block of West Chestnut. Miss Arlene Miles, if you are listening, thank you very much for your efforts. She had pizza for the folks that were out there. And again, just thank you for what you're doing to keep Coatesville beautiful. Mr. Folks, I saw you raise your hand. I think you were out there too, right?
Yeah, well, I raised my hand at her just to thank her. That's all. I mean, what she's doing for this city and taking upon herself to clean up our city. My God, I mean, I'm behind her 100%.
I would love to have them come on board. Come on. for a certificate of some sort, acknowledgement
That's what I was
publicly.
thinking, the same thing, Carm.
Mhm.
That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
That would be
Yeah,
nice.
absolutely.
I asked her to come on tonight, but it was so late. Maybe next council meeting. We'll have
yeah, we can have something prepared.
Yes.
That would be
Yes.
better, yeah.
In
Yeah,
addition
absolutely.
to volunteers in our community, just another note, many of you have been hearing about vaccination centers popping up. Bill Pierce mentioned what they're doing over at the Coatesville Senior Center. We also have a council member, although she doesn't like to be mentioned sometimes, but we have a council member that's been spearheading and supporting a number of these. Actually, we have two. Ms. Alameen, thank you very much for your support in getting these vaccination centers up and running. And also Mrs. Green, thank you for your support in getting them up and running. And I'm sorry, but I also have to give a shout out to Mrs. Hunt, because I know she's been doing some things behind the scene, and she probably think I didn't know this, but I do know. Thank you very much for what you're doing to get folks vaccinated as well. So our three divas are doing some tremendous work on council this evening, and we really do appreciate that. And the reason why I bring this up, folks, is because this is done outside of the county, and I'm not trying to throw the county under the bus. This is grassroots volunteerism, people coming together for the people they care about in this community. And
Yeah.
I tip my hat off to you three women of our council. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we don't have a report for our assistant city manager, but I covered some of the areas that he was going to talk about. He is not feeling well today. Let's just all, wish him the best and speedy recovery and get him back in this office, because I got too much work.
Yeah. Okay, do we have a finance report from Rich?
We do, and it is a few brief comments on, in general, tomorrow are pension committee meetings for each of the three pensions. So we'll be conducting those. The independent audit is substantially ahead of last year's schedule. The DCED report is required by April 30th. It looks like we expect to be filing it by Friday. So we're on time for that one. And regarding the financial statements that you have in your package, what we refer to as the circle and square schedule, you'll see on it the two areas I'll comment on most strongly are the general fund and the liquid fuels fund. Both have negative $300,000 variances to budget, which what a difference a day makes on, and these numbers are through March 31st. On April 1st, we got $1 million from real estate tax payments. So that flipped it to a $750,000 positive for the first quarter if we include April 1st. And a similar thing happened a week or so later into April. We got the state funding for the liquid fuels of over $300,000, which flipped that into a positive. So those are the larger parts of the financials at this point. It's still semi-early in the year, so there still are going to be timing fluctuations, and we'll continue to monitor. But at this point in time, we're doing well. So we just keep moving forward. And with that, Madam Chair, that's the report.
Thank you, Mr. Troutman. Is there any questions for Mr. Troutman, anyone? Okay. We're on to citizens' hearings on non-agenda items. Please keep in mind that there's 3 minutes allotted to speak. And Ruth Ann, do we have any?
I
Mr.
don't see
Logan, do we
any.
have- You don't see any?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion to close citizens hearings?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Full council, please.
Councilperson Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Alameen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
5-0 carries.
No special events, right, Mr. Logan?
Yeah, once again, the special events, we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have 5 applications or 6 applications in. And they will continue to come in, I'm sure, but we are slowing them down. We don't want a whole bunch of people in our parks. And we're happy that people are, returning to our parks. Just one thing, just to get off, before I get off of special events. In my earlier notes about the MTF grant, I did forget to mention 2 organizations that have always supported the city, one being your RDA, Redevelopment Authority. Their work was just unbelievable in putting the grant together, helping Colleen. And then Second Century Alliance, which Sonny Singer, we've been able to work together closely on a number of projects. Sonny is in the thick of it with the city of Coatesville when it comes to getting these fundings for the train station and for the garage. So I apologize for missing them early, but just wanted to acknowledge those 2, the organization, Second Century Alliance and the RDA for their help. And that's pretty much it for special events.
Okay. Well, we are on to.
Mr. Logan.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah. On the Ash Park, people are in my ear about when we're going to get that fence fixed. I said 2 weeks, but you said that was just to get the bids in. What's going on? If some of the council people don't know, somebody that ran through the fence on Walnut, and it's been down. Now we just have tape up. I thought it would move a lot faster since it's a playground and residents use that sidewalk. What's the status on that?
Well, we received the quotes for the fence. Sometimes the quotes come in a little bit slower because we try to get at least 3 bids. So I think we are waiting for one more, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll double check that in the morning. Once the bid is selected or the quote is selected, then we'll move forward with repairing that fence there.
Okay, now can we speed this up a little bit though?
As far as speeding it up, I would say no, we can't, because it really depends on the fence companies that will go out and do the installation.
Okay. Did we get the check from the insurance company yet?
I think we did. Rich, you want to confirm that? Did we get that already?
Yes, we did. We are, I believe, waiting for the subrogation portion of it, but effectively we've gotten the funds. So that's not a hindrance.
Can we secure it a little bit better while we wait?
Yeah, I've asked Jules to get the guys to actually stand it up and put some poles there, so it's a little bit more secure. But yeah,
I thought I think.
Yeah.
Now, is this the fence and the broken pieces of sidewalk, correct?
Well, the sidewalk is a different project that Veterans going to be working on. I think this is the week that they'll be out there.
Oh, good.
One of the things with the sidewalk is we need to repair the sidewalk and do it in a way that if sidewalk repairs are going to be, part of the Ash Park plan, we are just looking to get the most critical areas around Ash Park repaired. So again, Veterans will be out there. This is the week that they're scheduled. So
yeah, I know that yes, I just want them to fix the bad parts, because eventually that's all going to be torn out anyway.
Well, again, we don't know if it's all going to be torn out, but we want to just be on the safe side and eliminate risks for the broken sidewalk. So that's the priority for us right now, it's just getting that broken concrete repaired.
All right.
Oh, great.
Very good.
I don't know if Miss Wendy Whitaker is watching, but I believe I received email from her about both these questions. So I'm glad that we're answering them today.
Yes, I think we responded to her by email about it. She did email. Okay, council comments, Mr. Folks.
Yeah. Have a good night. I heard you saw about the presentation for the market. I'm not going to get happy. I'm not going to jump up and down because I heard this before. Until I see something, then I'll get happy. And then I'll tell you. But I'm not doing this no more. I'm not going to say, hey, we got a market coming to town. It'll be here. And 2 years from now, there'll be another hole in the wall. So I'm not going to do that. Have a good night. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Folks. Ms. Alameen.
I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, those that are on Zoom, those that are on YouTube. Coatesville has a lot of exciting things happening. I'm going to stay hopeful for the grocery store and hope that they can make it through the zoning and the codes. And Mr. Folks, in 9 months, we're sending you out there for the pictures, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay hopeful. So you
Yes.
mark your calendar for 9 months, my colleague, to make sure you're out there getting pictures. Bella, thank you for all that you do behind the scenes. Coatesville really has a lot of exciting things coming. I do want to make everybody mindful that, as Council Vice President Green said earlier, we are in red when it comes to COVID, and our numbers continue to rise.
Yep.
When I checked the dashboard today, we were at 1,105 cases.
Wow.
And since our last council meeting, unfortunately, there's also been 2 more deaths. As Mr. Logan mentioned, there's a lot of different places that are trying to make sure that vaccine clinics are coming. So Jubilee Evangelists on May 6th is having another vaccination clinic, and it will be from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you can call and leave a message on the church phone at 610-380-9601. You do have 2 other options. You can either call Mrs. Green or myself. Mrs. Green's phone number is 484-401-1446, and mine is 610-563-4026. If you call either of us, the required information is your name, your address, your birth date, and your phone number. And when you call us, once we obtain that information from you, we will give you an appointment. So by the time you hang up, you already know it's May 6th, and we will give your appointment time to you before you hang up, and then you'll return there for your second vaccine. And also on that day, there will be food there. That the vaccination clinic is inside, the food distribution will be outside. So those that are in need will be able to receive food as well. Mr. Folks, thank you for the folks that you referred. We have also reached out to the school district, and the parents have all received emails. So we have been blessed enough that we have scheduled teenagers with the consent of their parents, age 16 and 17. So, hopefully that will help too within the schools, because the schools are open again. So with getting the children vaccinated, maybe that will help prevent the cases within the school too, because when there's a case in the school, then they have to shut back down and sanitize. And so please, if you know anybody or you yourself, please reach out to us. And again, I just want to thank everybody for coming. Mr. Logan, thank you for putting the flyer in City Hall. Chief, thank you for putting the flyer in the police department. Tomorrow, I will be bringing you each another flyer. We now have flyers in Spanish as well.
Yeah.
So I'll bring each one of you one of the flyers in Spanish, and thank you guys for posting them. Because I think the more that we work together on this, and you're right, Mr. Logan, this isn't a city issue. It isn't a council issue. It's a caring issue. So thank you to the city for posting, and thank you, Chief, as well, because we really do need to all work together to get folks vaccinated. And with that, everybody have a good night.
Yeah, good
Woman,
stuff.
can you tell us which vaccine they'll be administering?
The Pfizer.
Pfizer, okay.
Yep. I have information for you, Ms. Hunt.
Okay, thank you, babe. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Ms. Graves.
Oh, hi, everybody. Thank you for watching on YouTube and watching people who rewatch it and people who are on the Zoom watching live. And also thank you to my colleagues for the work that you guys have been doing around the vaccine and the upcoming Jubilee event on May 6th. And Roberta, since you're here, thank you for the food distribution that is going to be along with it. I'm really excited about the prospect of a grocery store coming to Coatesville. We, people in working class communities do eat. That's how we're alive, contrary to the belief that you need a tax base for a certain tax base for a grocery store. We do eat. And so it's good to have a place to get groceries here and not have a food desert. It's also important to support the food bank for people who rely on the food bank for their produce and edible consumption goods. And I really don't have much to say other than just continue to have a great night, everybody. And that's it.
Mrs. Hunt.
Good evening. I too want to thank everyone for joining in tonight via YouTube or on Zoom. It's been a great meeting, an interesting night. As always, I want to thank our administration for the job that you do. You're second to none. And you're always coming through. It's so great to hear reports of us being above water and not always sinking under. I just want to give kudos out to our police chief, to our city manager, our solicitor, the assistant manager, and all of those, Ruth Ann, that makes things happen in the city. And I want to thank my colleagues. I'm proud to be a part of these 7 people. We all have little areas that we excel in. We all have passions and we all have compassion for the things that we're doing. So I'm just grateful to be a part of you. And I just want to say, and I guess I can say it because I'm not up for re-election, but we have 4 council members that are up for re-election in May in the primary, and that's Mr. Folks, Councilwoman Green, Councilwoman Alameen, and Councilwoman Graves. And I just wish you all best in your campaigns. And hopefully we'll see you all back here after the November election. I do want to just address Roberta once more about the Fresh For You truck. And just to make sure you understand that it's not about not having the truck in the city. That truck means a lot to so many. And I have gotten things off that truck. We just have to make sure that the location is right and that the environment for it is safe. I felt a little way about the comment being addressed to you. Have you seen or heard of any cars or any accidents? It's not whether we've seen it or whether we've heard it. It's about preventing it from happening. We don't want to have a statistic happen in order for us to say, hey, this is a bad location. So I do wish you well, and just know that I am here to help and do whatever we can to make sure things are secured for your truck as it comes into the city. So that's all. Vice President Green, you did a good job tonight standing in for our president, and we just
Thank
continue to pray for her. And I just pray that God bless each of you, those that are on Zoom, those that are on YouTube. I pray that God bless you all in your various walks and your lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hunt. I'm sorry, I had to turn my camera off. But but I do appreciate each and every one of you for all that you do. And I just echo Mrs. Hunt's sentiments regarding staff and the work and the job that they do. I so appreciate you all. I just wanted to, one, mention that the Craft Buses is having a school bus driver recruiting job fair on, I think it's Saturday, May the 15th. I think you can go onto their website and apply or call them to apply. The flyer is on Coatesville Growing Greater. I think I shared it on my page. I think the police department also shared it. But this speaks to the fact that we are providing opportunities and people are showing up to give us opportunities for better employment, higher paying wage jobs. I know Councilperson Graves speaks to that. That's a passion of hers. So please take advantage. Morgan Trucking is, I believe, still hiring. So take advantage of these opportunities as they come about. And I just appreciate the effort that Mr. Logan shows in that workforce development. He's getting them to come to the table. And, you know, it's catching on to other employers, and they know they come here, they're coming to us. Aside from knocking on your door, they're coming to us offering jobs, good wage paying jobs. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm so grateful to Jubilee Ministries, as well as Tabernacle Baptist Church, for their churches and their pastors taking the initiative, because this is about community. I received my vaccine. I got my second shot on Saturday. I've not had any reaction. I didn't even have a sore arm. I'm just so grateful that I went through with it. And I just want to let people know, don't be fearful. You know, this thing, as Ms. Alameen has said, our cases are growing. We need people to get vaccinated. We want to go back to normal. We want to be able to meet and greet and gather. But we need people to get their vaccine. And the one thing I tell you, Pastor Forward, he never does things half behind. I mean, you guys seen that beautiful flyer and those beautiful posters. Those were expenses that came out of his pocket, his commitment to our community. But also the fact that they're even incorporating their food program into it that day. So those that walk in will have the opportunity to even register right then to get a shot. So I just encourage people in the community. These vaccines are free. There is no charge. Come out, get vaccinated. We need to have everyone vaccinated. The callback numbers, as Ms. Alameen had given, they're readily available on every sign. When you call the church will forward those numbers to each and either her or myself. And we're scheduling. I've been doing that all day. I think I've scheduled maybe 50 people today. So, you know, encourage your family members and your friends, your loved ones. This vaccine, this disease is killing people. You know, it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. So I just encourage you. The second vaccine will be scheduled for anyone who gets their vaccine on May 6th. Will be scheduled accordingly, and it will also be at Jubilee. And upon the second vaccine, they're going to have a team of doctors, nurses there for some informational stuff to educate, to talk to you, to make you understand what is going on. That's how committed they are to our community and getting people, because people are misinformed. You know, people are fearful. They're hearing too many different things. The vaccine that it will be administered by the Chester County Hospital, Penn Medicine, will be the Pfizer vaccine. And we've been registering, like Khadijah said, we registered a lot of 16 and 17-year-olds, trying to make our schools safe, you know, and we want to do the same thing in our community. I truly believe that I know the county is up, Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're up over 50% vaccinated. But I truly believe our area is not that high, nowhere near
Right,
that high.
that's all of Chester County. You and I are
That's all of
still
Chester County.
waiting for the
We're-
information that we
We're waiting
requested.
for the information. That's
Yeah,
right.
they put
But
into
I
the
would,
state for it.
yes, I would beg to think that we're probably in the teens or the low 20s. So, you know, I just want to encourage everyone, if you have questions and you have concerns, Penn Medicine will answer whatever questions that you have. They will fill you in, they will give you all the information to inform you of anything, any side effects or anything that you may be concerned about. So again, I'd like to thank, you know, Sergeant Ollis, or Lieutenant Ollis, I forgot. I would like to thank him, the chief, and everyone, Coatesville Growing Greater, everyone who has been sharing and everyone who has been promoting. God bless you all. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Old council.
I'll make a motion to close.
Yeah, second.
Can you poll council, please?
Good job, Carmen.
Thank you, Mr. Folks.
Nick Graves,
Yes.
I catch you off guard.
Yeah, I'm usually not first. I'm like, yes.
Ms. Salamine?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Elamine. Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
5-0 carries. Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Everybody.
Miss Hunt,
Yes.
can I give you a number? They are willing to do your Moderna for your husband.
Okay.
They just need to have you call them directly, and they